Hey everybody, welcome back. If you are just joining us now, my name is Sean Donovan. Welcome to the channel. We like to build stuff here, learn some new things, and one of the big things that we've been working on lately is rebuilding this 1975 F250. It was my first car, first truck, I suppose. If you want to go back, this is pretty far, I'd say, down the playlist. We have an intro video that kind of explains everything. But today, we are going to install the rocker arms here, go on our valve train, and some push rods, and we're generally just going to get that all ready ready to go excuse me, for the valve covers. And once we put the valve covers on, then the whole top of the engine's decently put back together. Alright, so when I took this apart, I'm thanking my past self because I marked everything in Ziploc bags. We got passenger side push rods, driver side push rods, and the rocker arm bolts. Now if you noticed in other videos, I did get brand new grade 8 bolts, nice and shiny, not rusty, but that's because the old bolts looked like this, and like that's gross and rusty, and you know they could be weak. But because the rocker arms, all of this is actually usually covered in oil. Oil will come up through different passages and make sure everything's lubed up. Because of that, these stayed very rust free. They're still in very good shape, so we're going to reuse them, and I'm definitely going to put on some gloves so that I don't get all that oil all over my hands. First of all though, let's take a look at the push rods and how they kind of work along with these rocker arms and function with your engine. Alright, so we got our push rod out. I took it out of the passenger side. We're standing on the passenger side of the truck, so that's where we're going to start with the engine. Basically, it's in these old cars, they have a single cam down right in the center of the engine. And the cam, I can't show you the cam, I left it in there, but go ahead and look it up if you want. It's got little lobes on it, and the lobes push little tiny metal cylinders in there called lifters. So what we have here is this side rides against the lifter. It's a nice rounded bit there, and then the other side is kind of concave, like a little cup, right? So this goes down into the engine. This is where it touches with the lifter, and then the lifter touches the cam. So when the cam goes and pushes the lifter, it pushes the entire rod up. Now this rod, the rest of our rocker arms here, and we'll see if we can show you, but this concave cup goes on this little ball like that, and so when it pushes up, the other side goes down, and that other side, I'll show you again here. So we push up, the other side goes down. Now it's not that dramatic of a movement, but you get the point. So when that other side goes down, it pushes on the valves. Alright, so that other side of the arm that we just saw move pushes on the top of these valves and pushes them down, which then opens them, and you can get air and fuel or whatever into your cylinder. And then the other one is going to be exhaust. So we have 8 cylinders of V8, so we got 2 valves per. I can't remember which one is which. One's intake, so you get your air and your gas mixture in, and then when it is burned and combusted, it opens the other one to let it out into the exhaust, and that goes back down under the truck. So something that we want to make sure we do before we start dropping these in, and in reality these just go down a hole. You just whoop, shoot them down there and they're all good, ready to go. But because there's no oil in the engine right now, and I don't want to damage parts when I start it up for the first time, because it will take a little bit for the oil to get all over the engine, you can get this stuff called engine assembly lube, and you know, there's just a bunch of different kinds. I just use this one. I think you got it at AutoZone or whatever's the closest thing, Advanced Auto Parts, I don't know. But we're gonna lather this up with this assembly lube so that it goes in there and is protected for the first little bit of the engine turning on. This is actually gonna go away when it comes in contact with real oil, with engine oil. It kind of dissolves and is you know, burned away, or you know, however it gets out. I don't actually know, but it protects our parts from you know, engine startup when there's no oil in there. So we're gonna put that all over here. We're gonna definitely do it on this part because that's coming in contact with our lifters. Definitely here too, because that's gonna be up in on that little ball. And then you can see this one's kind of, maybe we can get it here. Come on. Well, you might be able to tell this one's a little pitted up on top where the rest of it's smooth. That just means that at some point there was probably some water up in the top part of the engine, which is not great, but it's, you know, a 40-year-old engine, and no one, I don't think, has taken it apart to rebuild it. And there's not enough for me to say that I'm going to throw it out and not reuse it. So it's clean, it's oiled, and once we put that assembly lube on, it's going to be protected until we start the engine. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get going. All right, so we're back over at the engine. We are on the passenger side of the engine, and we can see all of our valves here with the springs and all that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lube up our push rods, and they go down right in these holes here, right? So there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, they are all the same length. Let me grab another one. Okay, see, they're all the same length, so it doesn't matter which hole they go in. We can make adjustments later if we need to. I probably won't do that because it was running fine before, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna run it down in these holes, and you know, we can even, once we put them in, we'll turn the crankshaft just to make sure that they're resting properly and you can see them move up and down. So, all right, so we're gonna get our assembly lube here, engine assembly lube. Put that all over, and I'll show you the one, and then I'll do the others. So just kind of run it along the edge. It's coming out. There we go. Squeeze a little harder than necessary, than I would expect. It is winter right now, so fluid's kind of cold and whatever. I'm gonna put a healthy amount on there. We got a big tube, and that should be good enough for now. And we'll take our hand and just kind of smudge it all around. All right. Okay. Yeah. So definitely wear gloves for this part. See that it's all over right now, and just gonna drop that down in the engine then. Alright, so now you can see that each one is kind of lining up with one of the springs, more or less. They'll be held in place by the rocker arms. Let me see if I can get the crankshaft turning so we can look at them move. Alright, so we're going to be using our torque wrench again, just because it's super long. I cranked it up to a really high torque, so hopefully it won't click. Let's see if we can get this rotating. We want to make sure that they're properly seated on the lifters. Alright, so get the push rods in. That means that we can then put on our rocker arms. They are very simple to do. We're just going to make sure that we line these holes up, and they have an under plate there. We're going to line these holes up with the holes in the head here. 1, 2, 3, 4 down there. And yeah, then we'll be good to go. We will make sure that these are all lubed up with that engine assembly lube, and then that these are all mounted properly on those little cupped parts of the push rods. Whew, it's chilly out here. It's chilly. Might take a break for a little bit. Yeah, that'll be it. Then we'll torque them down, and it will be